Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I am going to make a herbal unsalt. It has salt in it. I don't know why she sat there and called it unsalt, but anyway. She puts kelp in it, and kelp is a salt. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of dried basil. You're going to need a herb blender for this one. 3 tablespoons of basil. You need 2 tablespoons of dried summer savory. This herb mixture can be put in stews, eggs, beans, and meats. In other words, this one's a very versatile one. Because it has kelp in it, you think that there's no salt in it, but there is because kelp is a salt. You need 2 tablespoons of celery seeds. Oh God, I'm running out of things. One and a half tablespoons of sage. That's about half. You need 1 tablespoon of thyme. Sometimes it makes better sense to buy the large packages to work. One teaspoon of kelp powder. She didn't know that this was salt at the time that she wrote it. I'll tell you, I collect recipes, a lot of them. I just bought in 2 new books. You'd think I'd stop, but I never do. And a tablespoon of dried marjoram. What we're going to do is we're going to blend all of this up, and that's it. And then I'm going to put it on the cork today. Okay, I'll be back. I have to go get a jar for this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got a half-pint jar. When you make these mixtures, label them so you know what you have. That's a good amount. Before I go much further, I have to write down the title of this so I'll never remember on the lid. Oh man. It's going to dry first. wrote it nice and neat, and then I smudged it. Isn't that me? I will be right back. Okay, I'm going to sit there and sift my flour. So I'm going to show you as I tighten all this up. I need more flour. I'm going to add some wheat flour to it. For some of you who are new watching me, you sit there and say, aren't you concerned about mixing your flours up or saving them like that? No. What it does is give more flavor. It's sort of like cooking rice. I use stock, and it's whatever vegetables I use, I collect and I make, or I use whey. I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned more about is I'm going to have a lot of flavor, and that's what I want, but also the nutrition of it. Which I think is very important. It seems that candy is the big thing now with chefs making candy. I said, oh, okay, if you insist. Like I said, my grandmother would be very popular because she was really good at making candy. That was her thing. See, every one of us have a skill in the kitchen. And like I've told a lot of you, I came out of the chute making bread. My mother couldn't believe how I took to it so easily. Messed up on my first loaf, and after that I took off with it. Now this herb has a strong smell of celery seeds. Then it has a twang of something else underneath. But believe you me, the title of it is Herbal Unsalted. It's not. It's got salt in it, except the salt that they're using is kelp. Now we're going to flour this and put it on this rack. And I've got I put 2 tablespoons of oil in a pan, and I have it on low while I take care of this and give this time to sit. See if we have to flour it twice or not. A lot of you who've been with me know I do this. For the new ones, I do this a lot of the times. These are pork neck bones. These are all on sale. There's a lot of meat on these. The beef gave me problems. I was not happy with the way the beef came out, and neither was my sons. We were not happy with it at all. It didn't break down the way I wanted it to, as well as it should have been. So I said if I do that again, definitely pressure cook it, bring it down. I'm going to serve these over mashed potatoes. I haven't decided which one, but I'm just thinking about making a basic mashed potato. Nothing elaborate. I might even, I feel like putting thyme in the potatoes. I don't know why, but. By the way, I did try those biscuits again. They did not come out. They want me to cook biscuits at 450 degrees. Here's what killed me, 25 minutes. I will redo that recipe another day. I'm gonna cut those cooking times down to maybe 15 minutes. There has to be a typographical typing error. 25 minutes is a long time for biscuits. I've never cooked biscuits this long. These biscuits are like a quick bread. They quickly cook. Now, as you can see, the meat is drying up. Drying that flour, and it's still quite wet, so I'll probably coat them again. You see how it's drying up like that? So I'm going to add a little more flour to it so you get a nice coat. You don't want to burn your herbs. I don't think I'm going to have any flour from this. I know you haven't heard little Pip. He's a little sick right now, and he's sleeping. He's very, very old. They usually don't live this long. He is still going. He's a cranky little bird now. Save that. That's nothing to save. Turn this up. Get you over here and we'll start burning these. No, you've got your food. You've got everything you need. And we will put you over here. I know you're probably saying I'm getting dizzy. I'm sorry. There. Let's see, what can I put this on? Now, I know the heat's hot. I can see the smoke from it. Well, I should see the heat from it. I know I'm quiet today when I'm done. I'm thinking about making marshmallows today because I know people like to go camping. Children like that. So this thing I'm thinking about making and showing you how I make it. I have like 2 or 3 marshmallow recipes. So I have a lot of recipes. So I'm going to continue browning these and I will be back. Okay, I'm pretty much putting all the pieces back in because I'm getting ready to cook them in a little bit. This is some vegetable water that I have been collecting from cooking my vegetables. It's still good. I strained it. I gotta show you this. I sat there and I collected bones from everybody. I told my sons, when you're done eating, give me the bones. And I put them in a bag and I froze them, right? Then I pressure cooked them for exactly 1 to about 3 hours. In other words, I couldn't finish them one day, so I went to the second day, but I pressure cooked them and my pressure cooker, and then I strained it like crazy. I didn't add any vegetables. This was just bones. Now I'm going to show you. I made gel. You see this? This is what your joints need. All of this is what you need for your joints. So what I did was I took the fat off as much as I could. As you can see, it was a thin layer left. And I'm going to add this in, and this is going to help joints. Because I cooked the bones down and got all the minerals, all the vitamins, and the gristle broke down. I got all those nutrients. So next time I make this, I'm definitely going to show you how you can can it, or if you don't can it, you can just put it in a jar, put it in the refrigerator and use it. But remember, if you don't can it, it's going to have a shorter lifespan, and this is, and it smells good. It really does. It has flavor in it. That's how you get the gelatin from the bones. Now, I don't have enough liquid, so I'm going to have to add some white. I'm not going to use water. When I add water, I end up diluting the richness of the food, and I like my food rich. I don't want to be sick in old age. I'm already old, but I'm definitely not going to get worn down. Now this is whey. It has this white stuff on the bottom. Those are building blocks for protein. Just pour it into whatever you're cooking. Don't waste them. They're very good. Now this gelatin that we put in here, that was made, you can sit there and it's going to break down and help with this gravy. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. And you know it's going to be good. And for those of you with a cholesterol problem and you're afraid of the fat and the oil that I used, which oil did I use? Oh, I used my olive oil that I make. but we'll put some lecithin in it so you can see how the lecithin just eats that up. Because lecithin the brain needs, and on top of it, lecithin is 2B vitamins. So we'll put granular lecithin in, and you'll just watch it eat the fat up, and you don't have to worry. The one thing I have learned, that if you have a problem health-wise, you need all the nutrients you can get. So your food has to be richer and everything else. But before you can even do that, you have to make sure that your food, that your digestive system is up and running. If you have heartburn or indigestion, or you're angry when you eat, or you're sad and you eat, though the food is nutritious, it's just going to leave your system because your body won't handle it. It just gets rid of it because of your state of mind. So that's why they always recommend to come to the table with a good frame of mind, which means be happy. Come pleasant. Don't come angry, apprehensive, nervous, because that interferes with your body getting the nutrients that whoever cooked, I would say woman, because most of the time I knew everybody was a woman that cooked, all her hard work goes down the drain. You see, and you don't want that. You want to get all the nutrients that she puts into this food to help you to better health. So if you're eating when you're angry, now your food could be completely nutritious, right? But you come in from work and you are angry, and you've been drinking or taking drugs, this is not going to get into your system because you've interfered with it with your state of mind, or doing things you shouldn't do, or getting drunk and trying to eat. Let me get a lid on this. We're going to put the lid. So so you can see all of that's going to affect, and you're not going to get what she's putting into the dish. So you shouldn't argue. You shouldn't bother people when they're eating. Let them eat in peace and quiet. And then you sit around, and you usually end it with coffee. Usually it's a 15-minute pleasantries. You can talk about things that are not going to get political and vicious and points of views like that, but things that are light and conversation, and it sets the mood for your whole body to enjoy it. And because you don't get up and jump right away after you eat, the body has time to start breaking that food down, because remember, it's going to take 5 hours from the time you eat till it comes out the other end. And you can tell if your digestive system and you're healthy or not. You should be able to evacuate what has to come out within a minute. If it takes longer than a minute, then you're backed up. Hey, it's not me saying it. Okay, I'm only bringing information. So, I will let you go. I brought this to a boil. I'm going to simmer it now until it's tender. Right now, I'm going to go make some mashed potatoes. If I make an exceptional mashed potato, you know, truffle mashed potatoes would go good with pork. Thinking, maybe we should. Hold on, let me think about that. Okay, we're gonna make the potatoes, truffle mashed potatoes. Wild boar, love truffles. This is a pork neck bone. They should go very well together. Now, anybody who knows me, I do not peel my potatoes. But you should peel your potatoes for this recipe. You can leave the potatoes in if you wish, but I am going to take them off because of what I'm going to do today. But I usually do not peel my potatoes, so I'm going to peel 1.5 pounds of potatoes, anywhere from 1.5 to 1 3/4 you need to make this recipe. All right, so let me get these peeled against my will. But anyway, I know the peelings will go into the yard because I'm not making stocks at this point. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, you're going to cut these potatoes into chunks. Just like this. We're going to need a ricer to do this. That's why you can't put a peeling on this. Leave the peelings because it won't go through the ricer. You don't want to cut your potatoes small because of what we're going to have to do with them. That's why they say put them in chunks. You're going to fill the water up just 1 inch above the potatoes. We're not throwing the potato water out because we can use it in cooking. So we'll be straining our potatoes. So you see a lot of things that you sit there and throw down the sink or into the trash, you're actually throwing a lot of nutrients and food waste. So when you start cooking like this, you find out you're not wasting. Yeah, I mean, you're actually utilizing just about everything that you have. I mean, the peelings and stuff, if it was autumn, I'd start making my stocks and stuff. But during the summer and the warm months, I just bury them out in my garden and in my yard, and this is how I feed my yard. It might take longer to get the yard fed instead of using fertilizers and everything else, but it's natural. So let nature do what she has to do, as I cry and watch the animals eat everything that I plant. They do, they don't leave me much of anything, but they are getting plump and healthy. So I'll see you when those are done boiling. You're just going to cook those potatoes just till done. Don't go any further than that. That's very important that you don't do that. You don't want to overcook these potatoes because we're going to have to do other things with them. Okay, my potatoes are done. Now, you probably ask, what can you use the potato water for? You can make biscuits with it. You can make bread with it. You can use it as a stock for soups, gravies. So there's a lot of uses, so you would be getting the nutrients of the potatoes anyway. So wherever you would use water, you could use it. Now what you're going to do with these potatoes is put them back in the pot, put this to the side. Gee, I am just running out of room in this kitchen. Kitchens are never big enough. I mean, they're not. What's next? Okay, what you're going to do, move you over here. I'm going to be moving you around, so you might get a little dizzy. I'm sorry. I have this on, so what I'm going to do is turn this flame back on the potatoes. Right? Where did I put my spoon? And what you're going to do is stir them around. And what you're doing is drying them out. As they dry, there will be a film on the bottom of your pot, and then you know they're dry. It takes about a minute, that's all. And what you're doing is drying any excess water up on the potatoes, so when we go to do what we're going to do, they'll come out. That wasn't hard, now was it? I'll move you back, and then I'll see if I can get you to see the film on the bottom. See that film right there? That's what you want. That tells you your potatoes are dry. Now, I'm going to put them, where am I going to put these? I'm going to do something I normally don't do. Because they're dry, I'm going to dump them in here. Because I have to get the ricer. And we're going to rice these potatoes first. If you've never used a ricer, this is what they look like. Now why are we ricing them? Because they were getting fluffier than they were. Mashing them, they're a little more on the heavy side, but if you don't have a ricer, you can use a masher. Ugh. Oh, God. Be careful you don't burn yourself. If nothing else, you can see cooking does make you strong. You can imagine how strong the women were, the pioneer women working with their husbands, and how strong they were. many people lift weights, or they go back the other way, believe you me, you'd see how strong they really are. Now you're going to put some butter in here and start stirring it around. Alright, here's some more potatoes. The pot's hot, the potatoes are hot. Believe me, it will melt your butter, and you're going to stir it now. They don't want you to whip it or anything. They want you to literally just stir this. And as the butter melts, you're adding 4 tablespoons. That's the amount of butter you need for this. Now, if you're going to serve these potatoes right away, I can see you actually heating the half and half up. I'm not heating the half and half up because this isn't. These are going to be eaten later, so there's no reason for me to heat them up to bring them to the table because this is being a packed lunch again today. And you keep stirring until you get all that butter melted. You can see how the potatoes are looking. I have to open my half and half. See, here's the half and half that I canned. Now you're going to use anywhere from 1/4 of a cup to 1 cup of half and half. Now what you do is you're just going to keep on stirring. By the way, they recommend russet potatoes. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that. They're dry, so when you sit there and pour this in, it will absorb. If you have the Eastern potatoes or a different kind of potato, you'll notice that they're more moist. You won't get all that you need to get into your potatoes. See, I've almost used a whole cup. See that? So if you want your potatoes a little drier, use less half and half. The half and half will control pretty much how you want the texture of your potatoes to be. Now, they don't tell you how much salt to add. So I guess you just add salt to taste. they do want white pepper. We recommend about a fourth of a cup. A fourth of a teaspoon. My God, where are you going, Sandy? Nobody would eat the potatoes with that much pepper in it. Now, you need 2 tablespoons of truffle oil. I can't find real truffles, so I'm using truffle oil. And it's 2 tablespoons. And believe you me, this is a sin. These potatoes are truly a sin. They're that good. Heaven had to have made this combination. I think I'll say it every time I have these potatoes because they are just that good. Oh my God. Now what do truffles taste like? Truffle has like a, let me see. It has an earthy flavor, earthly, and I'm trying to think of what I could give you for the smell of the truffles. It has, I want a buttery taste. It's like a sweet, earthly taste of truffles, okay? And having it in the oil like this, I think, gives it that extra sweetness, but truffles have an earthly taste to them because they do grow in the ground. I want my potatoes a little smoother, so I'm going to add a little more milk. Not milk, half and half. Oh, what the heck? Finish it up. That's a whole cup. And they smell delicious. I am not kidding. If you like the earthy sweetness, that is exactly what you want, is truffle. Now, if you can get fresh truffles, I mean, you can chop yours up, you know, but I can't find fresh truffles, so I get the oil done like this. So, that's how you make truffle mashed potatoes. Listen, I could eat this whole thing by myself. It's that good. I love that earthly, sweet smell of the truffle oil. And as I'm stirring it, my stomach's going, I want to eat. Well, I can't right now anyway. So I'll see you when those neck bones are done. Okay, here it is, the meat. It's not tender enough, so I'm going to add some of this potato water to it, bring it back up to a boil, and cook it down till the meat is tender. There's no reason to waste it. Make sure your meat isn't stuck anywhere, because then it'll start to burn. And we will continue, bring this to a boil again, and we will continue cooking this until tender. And then when we're done eating, we're going to take all these bones and we're going to put them in a bag, Ziploc bag, and throw them in the freezer. So next time when we go to cook the gel and get those minerals and stuff that our joints need to help us and to keep our teeth healthy and all, that gel is what we need for our bodies. That's when dogs and stuff eat bones and animals, they get that. That's why they're so strong. This will help us as well. We just have to do it a little different, because you know our teeth aren't as strong as theirs. But if we take care, I'm sure they are that strong. So I'm just going to bring this back to a boil and turn it down to simmer and continue cooking. So I'll see you. If it gets depleted again, I'll add some more. Okay, this meat is tender. Now what I'm going to do is put soy lecithin granulars in there. Now, I have to pick you up because I have to talk to you. All right, soya lecithin granulars, or if you get it in the liquid form, is 2 B vitamins. That's all they are, 2 B vitamins that cause lecithin to be made. But there's a trick to the lecithin. You have to take it with the other B vitamins. And if you noticed, I added whole wheat flour to the flour that I was mixing because I knew that those would be B vitamins. So we've got that. And then I added the stock that came from my vegetables, which has more. Now, if you just take this by itself without the B's, it does not work. But if you take it all together, it eats cholesterol up. If you have a high cholesterol, believe you me, this will eat it up. And your brain needs it as well. Now, I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna hope you can. Now, we braised these, better known as brown for people who are learning the language, right? And you see that fat floating there? I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of this into it. And this has no flavor, by the way, and it melts as it gets hot. It literally just melts and disappears into the gravy. So I'm going to add it and stir it around and just let it do what it does. It takes about a minute or 2, and if it doesn't get it all, I'll add another tablespoon. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I know you can see it floating right now. It says it doesn't look appealing. I know. But it will do what it has to do, and it will disappear. And I'm going to continue, though this is done, basically. I'm going to be adding seasonings and salting it, but I'm just going to let the lecithin cook and get soft. Matter of fact, you can eat it right out of the container. Now, if you get the liquid, it is tacky. I'm going to warn you right now. Now, where does lecithin come from? Soybeans. And they use soybeans for making paint. So what they did is they have to take the lecithin out, because if you don't, the paint streaks all over the place and they can't get that smooth coloring that they like. So what they do is they take the lecithin out and then they dry it up, granulars, and then we end up with lecithin granulars that we can eat. And you can see these little buggers are disappearing slowly because I added a lot in here. I'll show you. They're disappearing. What they do is actually swell up and get nice and soft. And you can actually see it doing it. Let me go get my pepper and stuff and we'll get this going. And you can see they're disappearing, and so is the fat. Isn't that nice to know such a simple little thing can do so much? And lecithin is quite reasonable. It's not that expensive. Yeah, it's breaking it all down. But this needs salt. Now the flavorings that I did the meat in, I'm going to be doing here as well. Because that's going to be the gravy. I can't wait to have those truffle mashed potatoes. Oh, that earthly taste. When I say rusty, I'm talking about how they would have made it years and years ago when you had the smell of the herbs in the kitchen and they would be drying and everything else. But it is so good. I know I need salt in this. I have to be careful with this salt because the kelp I already have in there, in the seasonings. I didn't want to make it too fishy, so I was careful. You'll notice that the lecithin is swelling and swelling, swelling, swelling till it just disappears. And you know, with all the butter that I put in the mashed potatoes with the half and half and stuff, I will need it. So I'm just going to let this cook down. I'm going to go get a spoon and I'll be right back. See, not sticking. It started to. Yeah. Need some more seasoning. And definitely more salt. I can say the meat really absorbed everything very nicely. Because I use stocks and vegetables and the gel of the bones and all, you'll find you have to use a little heavy-handed on your seasonings to catch up with all those flavors. But if you just use water and one seasoner, so you don't need much of anything. But I want full flavor and as much nutrition as I can get into each meal that we eat. That's plenty of salt for me. Now I'm just going to let this reduce some. Oh, I just should leave the lid off and let it reduce. And that is pretty much it. I'm going to take the gravy after I reduce it a little more, and it will be served over the mashed potatoes, and I'll have the meat sitting next to it. What vegetable? Heaven knows. I'll go see and put something together then. But anyway, that's it. So listen. You take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.